Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Unapologetically 50 Plus, where we talk about real life, real healing, and real growth, especially for those of us stepping into our next chapter with intention. Today is episode 2 in our Boundaries and Becoming series. We're going to dig into something I see a lot in this healing journey. Are you setting boundaries or are you building walls? Because a boundary should create peace, not isolation. It should help you feel safe, but still connected. And if we don't slow down and reflect on where our boundaries are coming from, we could end up reinforcing our trauma and not our growth. But before we get started, I have one huge favor to ask. If you find any value or enjoy the content, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I truly appreciate your support. Okay, let's start with this. What trauma teaches us about safety? If you've ever experienced betrayal, abuse, abandonment, or even years of being dismissed or ignored, you've likely developed your own system of protection. And here's the thing, it worked. You survived. You made it through. But that survival mode sometimes builds walls instead of boundaries. Walls will say, no one gets in. If I let you get too close, I'll get hurt. I'm fine by myself. And while those beliefs might have kept you safe then, they might be costing you connection, joy, and softness now. So let's talk about boundaries versus walls. What's the difference? A wall is built from fear, a boundary is built from clarity. A wall keeps everyone out, no exceptions. A boundary invites connection with condition. Here's how I feel safe. Here's how we move forward. A wall is rigid. A boundary is firm but responsive. For example, a wall might look like, I don't trust anyone. I keep to myself. A boundary will be, I trust slowly and intentionally, and I'm clear about who gets access to my emotional space. A wall will say, I don't do vulnerability anymore. I've been burned. A boundary, I choose when and with whom I share my truth. So boundaries communicate and walls shut down. Boundaries can help you heal, but walls will keep you stuck in a protection mode long after the threat is gone. So, why do walls often show up stronger in midlife? You see, by the time you hit 50, you've seen a lot. You've been the one holding it down, raising kids, sacrificing your own needs, and maybe even carrying emotional loads for other people. So, when you finally say, I'm done, that wall can feel like freedom. But here's the truth most of us avoid, that wall might give you relief, but it also keeps you disconnected from joy, from softness, from intimacy. We go from overgiving to overguarding, from saying yes to everything to saying no to everything. And that swing is understandable, it's human. But eventually you have to ask, am I protecting my peace or am I punishing that part of me that still wants connection? So, how do you tell if you're behind a wall? Let's reflect, no shame, just self awareness. Ask yourself, do I avoid difficult conversations by cutting people off instead? Do I say, this is just how I am to avoid being vulnerable? Do I feel proud of not needing anyone, but deep down feel unseen? Do I call things boundaries that are really just me avoiding discomfort? If any of that lands, I want you to take a deep breath. You're not doing it wrong. You're just learning to listen to yourself more closely. And sometimes the wall isn't there because you're cold, it's there because no one ever protected you, so you had to do it on your own. But here's the beautiful part of healing in this season, you get to choose something different now. So, what does it look like to soften without losing yourself? You see, softening doesn't mean going back to being overly available. It means knowing what you need and letting in only what aligns with that. It means saying, I love you, but I need space. I'm open to connection, but only with accountability. I'm not cold, I'm just careful with my energy. It's not about being unbothered all the time, it's about being unavailable to what drains you while staying open to what nourishes you. That's a boundary, that's a spiritual shift, and that's what this series is about. So, are you letting or are you setting boundaries that are rooted in clarity or building walls that are rooted in fear? Only you can answer that. But here's what I know: you don't have to hide to be safe, you don't have to disconnect to be whole. You get to protect your peace and stay connected to your heart. If this episode brought something up for you, please drop a comment below and let's talk about it. You're not alone in this work. And if you want a little more guidance, you can check out my Rediscovering Purpose and Passion guide and other amazing tools in my Stand store to help you reflect on what you need in this season of becoming. The link will be in the description below. So please come back for episode 3, Stronger or Stuck When Boundaries Become Too Rigid. You see, sometimes we confuse strength with inflexibility, but are your boundaries helping you grow or keeping you stuck? So, in episode 3, we'll explore what happens when boundaries become too rigid and how fear masquerades as firmness and why true strength includes room to shift. And if you've ever said, "This is just who I am," as a shield, this episode's for you. So, thank you again for joining me. I truly appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye.